Hey Ivies, how y'all been? We're gonna be doing something mostly the same. We're gonna be doing another sketchbook tour, but it's a different sketchbook. It's actually my more recent one besides the one I got right now that I'm filling up. As you can see, it's aged very badly in the span of only not even like a few months. Like I haven't had this one that long, I don't think. Or maybe I have and I don't realize. But either way, we gonna take a look at what's inside, cause y'all haven't seen it yet. But first, you gotta get in the green.
Can't say I don't feel the same. I don't wanna be sales, but got too much pride. I don't wanna be sales, but I'm really hip. Don't really like hip, but I tell you I tried. I did everything, get but crap. I done smoke all my weed, young nigga on fried. You can see all this shit in my eyes.
Technically, I do it every time after the intro. But I gotta talk to you, I'm sorry. Make sure you like the video, you subscribe so you can actually get more of my content, and comment so that I know what you think. Honestly, even just a like is enough. It lets me know if y'all actually enjoy the content, if y'all want to see more of something. It helps me know what you think. So even if you don't comment, just some form of interaction would be great. But also, if you want to read my comic E-Kings, I got a chapter coming out May 28th, I think. That should be Wednesday. And if you want to read ahead, you could go subscribe to my Patreon. You know, you get videos early, get E-Kings early. You can see some behind the scenes stuff. You get what I'm saying? Like more intimate content. Plus, you can support me if you want. Let's crack this open. I don't even remember when I got this sketchbook started, but I've probably had it for some time. Just taking a look and see, man. And it's crazy to look back because like my art style's probably changed like a lot recently just from how much art I have to produce on a daily basis. But there are some other stories I wanted to turn into like one-shot comics, and if people really mess with them, I could like actually make them into longer stories, but obviously I'm still writing E-King, so I might as well wait on that. But I think the idea for this story would have been like a guy that slowly transforms into like a sea monster because of some food he's been eating. But it's also like symbolic of his mental state. I think as he picks up a new job. I forgot what it was though. But it would have been pretty cool. I actually really like how I did this. Like visual storytelling with like a minimal information. Because you don't even get to see his body, but you get a good implication of like how much his form has changed. I think this was gonna be like I think I was at a football game and I was trying to draw like what I was saying, but man, I still didn't have a full good enough grasp on it. So it's like I just kind of messed it up and was like, yeah, I'm moving on. And even now, like these are like me trying to practice perspective, facial anatomy, and applying like 3D forms to actual organic objects. Perspective is typically more easier for me than it is to like get more accurate with forms within perspective and like the three-dimensional aspects. So I'm so used to just applying lines, and so I gotta now use color to help reinforce the illusion of like 3D. You know, you get what I mean. And so here's some more like face studies I had going on. A little scene down here of like a surgeon working on nothing, but I honestly love the foreground and background work. I probably could have added some more foreground elements to really make you feel like you're in the room. And that's what I love, like when I have like a lot of my sketches is like I'll do some foreground stuff, like really make the camera of the drawing feel like it's inside of a world of things, even if it's not the most you know accurate. But I think I drew this around the time Tyler dropped his Chromacopia album, and so I kind of just drew as I was listening annoyed. It was a really good song, I gotta admit. Honestly, I gotta re-listen to the album. That album and all of Dochi's, I gotta re-listen to that. But here's some more of me like drawing faces I found on Pinterest, which honestly I gotta get more into the habit of, but like just drawing chapters from my comic definitely takes quite some time. But I could definitely take a small break just to draw people, hands, expressions. Like I think currently like what I really got to get good at is like expressions, anatomy, like intestines and such, poses, color and lighting, basically all of it, duh. But like, I guess what I'm most comfortable with is like perspective work and line. Cause I mean, I draw. Like, I was an illustrator before I was ever like an actual painter or artist, anything of the sort. And have y'all ever heard that idea that like a lot of artists' drawings kind of look like them in some way? Cause like, if I just drew a face, it probably would almost look like me. But even though a lot of these are incomplete, you can kind of see what I was trying to go for in just the few seconds that I captured with some of these lines. And so it's kind of intriguing just to look back, because honestly, I haven't really opened it and looked through it before I even opened the camera. But like, yeah, it's technically mine. But this was like an early concept for a current monster in E-Kings, which I kind of do wish I went for a more animalistic look, but at the same time, I'm glad I didn't. But if you're reading currently, you might kind of understand what I'm talking about. But if not, don't worry about it. And this one was like, I really don't know what to tell you. Time? Haptic? There could have been something cool here, but I genuinely don't know what I was going for. And I feel like I was confused even in the moment. Pure freestyle. Oh, and then this is like a scene from E-Kings. I didn't even draw it in the comic like this once I finally could like get more of it down. It took me so long to write I don't remember what chapter it was, but I think the chapter Unburdened came out so long after the previous one. I think would have been The Silent. And so there's like there might be like a 3-4 month span between like 2 of the chapter entries, because like school and work was like such a thing to where like I couldn't even work on this. But obviously I did want to work, and I still do want to work on comic stories and artwork of many types for a sustainable living. Obviously I had to do real life stuff. But I was really proud of this one. Like, it feels like a really engaging drawing. And then obviously here are just some more stuff I like found from Pinterest and things of that nature. Which honestly, I could give it another go. I feel like if I could find the right comfortable spot between like stylized artwork but still semi-realistic, I could do something like that. I think it does lie in like how I lay down my colors specifically. But I've just never been like I don't really color my sketchbooks. This is all of mine will be like purely pen from times. And I don't even know what my markers are. I think I gave them to my niece. I haven't seen them anymore. But this was another one shot I wanted to do, where it'd be like a story in the past of the E-Kings universe. And it'd be a story about what it means to become a myth, like how a person can be broken down and dehumanized into something as divine as a myth. And it'd be, the origins, not the origins of that world, but a story from an earlier point in time. And this is a sketch a friend of mine did in my sketchbook. I just handed it to him and they wanted to doodle in this on. This, I don't know what this is. Sketch. This was me. I did these. This is definitely drawing of like Bluesky Collins, I think, holding a guitar. He got some good music. And this was supposed to be maybe, if I say so. I mean, that's why I had 3 question marks, because this is obscene, bro. This is pitiful. But this was supposed to be another scene from E-Kings where like a weird magician comes and turns a restaurant into he installs a playpen that actually like consumes the restaurant, and then like they're stuck in like an infinite playground in a way. They'd be like trapped and they'd have to like find their way through and like fight the guy and then feed him afterward. And then these are just pages that like my niece probably did. Some of these spirals I think I did, which kind of resemble some of the ones I already have on me. Honestly, the tats, like the spiral tats I got on me, they're definitely gonna have to become more intricate. Like the larger I go and the more I get. So like I just want the smaller ones to like test out like how I felt about it. And they look strange because they're just like oddly placed throughout my body. But obviously the more intricate they get, they'll probably start to mean more. And this is like a drawing of Jay from E-Kings, but you can tell the perspective's all off. Like, I had no idea what I was doing with that hand. I think my like biggest gripe with like arms and hands is like I really need to sit down and study like the wrist attaching the hand and forearm, because like that like make or breaks the accuracy with bodies for me maybe. And I think this was just me noting things about the story. Like my handwriting is very messy, so like even sometimes I look at it and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Here's Manager Man. Honestly, he was one of my favorite characters to draw because like even if he does look different every time I draw him, he has recognizable like traits about him that keep him himself. Even if I took the hat off, you could still tell who Manager Man is, because like he has an interesting silhouette, truly, like he really does. My pops even noted that he kind of looks like a clown, and I never really noticed that for myself. Like that wasn't intentional, but that suits the role of his character pretty well, for him to look like a clown. And this one is a callback piece, actually. I don't know if I've shown this one off on my YouTube. I wonder if I've already, have I done a sketchbook tour of this already? I hope not. I don't think so. But I am very proud of this drawing. Like, cause I freestyle and I really love drawing astronauts, but I have not done it in like a while. But man, I'm proud of this. Like, it's so engaging. Like, things actually reach toward the camera, things reach around in the background. Like, I gotta make more stuff like this. And this is just a guy like cross-legged meditating. Cross-legged? Yeah, cross-legged meditating. It's probably gonna be like a graph around like the E-King's power system works. Cause like, yeah, I make comics now, but you gotta realize I was growing up like I was like 10 in 2016, and I was, so from like 10 to 15, maybe earlier, maybe not later, you know, I'm watching YouTube, I'm watching like white manga, maybe even some like Jay Oden's videos, Saturday AM, like I'm seeing a lot of like anime inspired black artists like come about making their own stuff, so it's like, of course I gotta do my thing. Damn, I mean, this was like an original concept for like, or I guess this is how Mooney looks in E-Kings. The chapter isn't out yet. It is on my Patreon. So like, if you support the Patreon, which I think I have like a few patrons here, I got to thank them at the end of the video. But they've definitely seen Mooney already if they've read the chapter that I put out on it. So like, this drawing has probably been seen before, but it hasn't been, you know, like talked about and actually like put in context of E-Kings now. But I'm digging it, honestly. Like, this is really well done. And then this is supposed to be like a clock tower, but like I didn't really understand the perspective I was going for. And that really does make or break like a lot of my drawings, is like when I freestyle and I don't really know what the perspective is, like I might as well just go ahead and figure that out before I even touch the paper, because that's really my best bet with like delivering a good drawing. It's just go ahead and figure out the position of the camera. And this was probably like a little reference sketch to like a drawing I had in the past. I think I called it the Theomaniac's Theory. It was like orange with ripples and stuff. Hold on, my fault, chat. But I'm getting some kind of mad case of deja vu. I feel like I've gone through this sketchbook and talked about these drawings on camera before. It's tripping me out bad. But here's a drawing of what I haven't put in E-Kings, maybe either yet or never, but it's supposed to be like that the guy you saw on the last page, you know, he's like talking to the main characters, he's like got a bunch of hands coming out of his body. Like, I want his form to be very like, not amorphous, that may not be the right word, but you know, very malleable, shifty, inconsistent. You get what I'm saying? Like it moves like a pile of flesh. And here's some drawings I made while I was in college. Well, I mean, I'm still in college, but this one, I don't even think that was a still life. I think I just drew a bunch of random scenes. I was playing with perspective. I was drawing some boxes, just throwing some scenes down and some panels. I need to go back to doing this. That way, like when I sit down to draw my sketchbook, when I'm like trying to study, I'm not so confused when I'm trying to mimic something. I really do gotta warm up some more, but for me, drawing is like an urge. So it's like, I'll just sit down and draw, or I'm working on something that I like. I feel like I gotta get out. But I think I may have done some of these in like a draw with me. That may be what that is. Like some of these I've gone over in other drawings for other videos. So you've probably seen these in other videos, but not as like a greater sketchbook. So this was just for a video. Like, there's nothing behind these, but I am kind of proud of the scene building I did with them. Even if it isn't that good. I mean, they're sketches. But I'm proud of it. And this one, this drawing, I cannot lie at all. I'm so proud of. Like, I think of this drawing quite often. And I'm looking at it again, and it's better than I remember. Like, even if I have evolved to make better art past this point, this is still a peak I'm very proud of. Because I just sat down and drew this, and like, if I add color, if I just took a photo of this and adapted it digitally, like, I could probably make this pop with some crazy colors. So I gotta do that soon. Such a great drawing. And then here's like me doing like a little diagram of how like I want the power system in E-Kings to work. You know, the orators, how they speak, how their magic works. And here's just a little E-King drawing I did. You got a foreground of like a guy hiding behind a book on a shelf, and then there's like a large monster in the background with like a really long tongue, drooling, holding a spoon, because you know he wants to eat him. That's really all I drew for that one. And then this one, I was kind of, you know, drawing some clothing folds and like people in not strange clothing, but like very ornate, very detailed, very unconventional to what I typically see in my day-to-day. You get what I'm saying? It's Pinterest type fashion. And this was definitely part of a video about anatomy. I have to make another and just go more in depth. But honestly, like, this isn't bad. It's just sometimes you're gonna draw and you're gonna forget how to draw, and that's fine. It doesn't mean you forgot everything. It's just, you know, sometimes you might have to actually just warm up, or it may not be your moment. Like, you gotta shake it off and maybe try again once you're ready. It happens. It happens. Another leg. This was gonna be another E-Kings drawing. Oh, okay. These are notes I took on the Delectable Negro. This may have been in reference to how they would cut off enslaved Africans' ears and force them to eat them in a soup when they would escape. Like, when I talk about slavery, like, people gotta understand, like, this isn't just people in fields being underpaid and severely overworked. Like, this is a torture, a treating of people like actual animals, a consumption of people, a great and 400-year effort of institutions built to keep people treated as animals. Like, I cannot express to you how severe slavery is and how it still exists in our day-to-day. Like, I can make 1,000 videos on it, and you still wouldn't realize just how many cracks it's submerged in. But here's some sketches for Cleo Truth. Like, she's a character that appeared a lot later than Trey and Jay, and so I didn't have a clue of how her powers worked, but I knew kind of what I wanted her to do. I knew I wanted her to have a cool eye and a book that she like uses for like moves and stuff. And eventually, at some point in time, I look into altering that. But like, for current, you know, she have her book and her eye and she's doing stuff. But I had to get familiar with the character. But it's like, honestly, every character I come up with doesn't start to have their own identity until I write them. Because it's like, okay, I have an idea of like who they're supposed to be, what they do, but until they get to interacting with my characters, I don't know who they are yet. So like, their first appearance is not even concrete. This is me, by the way. But their first appearance isn't even like concrete. It's just, okay, I was making sure I'm recording because I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, don't tell me I've been yapping to nobody. Let me move this up some. Skip. I don't know what this is. Skip. This is Mama Eve. Yeah, her powers. Mama Eve is a character in E-Kings based off of my great-grandmother. But she finds Trey and Jay, and after they're killed by that monster, she gives them sacred seeds. And those seeds are supposed to, you know, halt the process of them dying and put their souls back into their bodies. You get me? But she's a character with a lot to offer and with a quite enigmatic origin in the first place. Like, why she's even down there with them is a mystery in of itself. But here's just some more drawings of her because, you know, I got to get a feel for the character. Like, whenever a chapter features a character to a great extent, I have to literally sit and draw them just a bunch so that when I sit down and I sketch and I put the inking down, I don't have to overthink It's just put this here, put this here, put this here. And I just have the guidelines to make sure it's in the right place. Typically, characters have telltales for like the things they do. But here's Dom Do and Cleo Truth. Well, you really wouldn't know who this ghost is fully, besides like I think the chapter E Kings Tell the Truth, but the chapter featuring him again and her interaction before the actual fight is on my Patreon. But I haven't developed it further. Obviously, I have to sit and actually write it. But here's a sketch before I ever actually put him in my comic. So he's existed 2024? E-Kings is old. Well, not old. E-Kings is probably like, I think I started E-Kings in like February 2024. Around that time or so. But I had the concept probably like months prior in 2023, maybe. So E-Kings has been around for kind of some time. And here's some sketches, like concepts, you know, like here's a body, a woman, because I'm practicing the anatomy. And here's like some concepts for E-Kings I probably tossed out. And this is a storyboard. This is a family tree I was making note of. Right here is a little sketch of like Jay and his powers. He doesn't have his powers in this comic yet, but I already know like what powers I want him to have. Him and Trey. Trey's powers is hard to figure out to like some extent, cause like my fault, y'all. Some number was called. I keep getting calls from random numbers and it's annoying me. Like it makes me want to pick up the phone and just yell at the other person on the other side of it. Cause it's like, bro, you don't bother me. Like you don't have anything for real to talk to me about. Like you quietly interrupted something I'm doing on my phone to call me about something that don't matter. You shouldn't even have my phone number. That's why I'm mad at Indeed. Matter of fact, let's just get back to this. Anyway, Jay's powers is, first of all, since E-Kings is a sick comic series with, you know, a lot of black characters in the forefront with powers, I really don't want to do the lightning thing. Not because I even have a thing against lightning powers, but because it's like, it's too easy. If I ever introduce a character with lightning powers, I don't even know if I want them to be black. And if I do, I'd have to, it's like, how could I have them and then not have people think of Miles Morales or Static Shock or Black Lightning or Storm? So it's like, I needed my main duo to not only have powers that weren't lightning based, but also kind of unconventional. So like Jay's power is to produce Conqueror's Root from his body, which Conqueror's Root is a real substance used in hoodoo root work, but in the instance of Jay's character, he's using it as kind of like a substance he can manifest from his body, like actual roots and bark of a tree. They can use to protect themselves, fight, things of that nature. They behave as tentacles. And in some iterations, I even want kind of like for his hair to turn into Conqueror's Root whenever he's just fighting with his arms. So it's like, it's a lot I could do with his character, and his ability was just so much easier to figure out. Trey's, even now in my head, it's harder to deduce. But here's sketches, more current final sketches of the monster and E-Kings that they're currently fighting, or at least about to fight. Oh, well, I mean, this kind of explains who this guy is. He's supposed to be one of Anna Franklin's team members, if you see my Instagram post where I just gave her like a character introduction sheet. But he used to be a person, but he had already befallen sick due to complications already in his body from the past, and he had come across a substance that he consumed, and now he's a monster. But it would make more sense if I wrote it out within the comic instead of just telling you. But that's how I got it. What is this? Oh, this is probably from another video, I think. No clue. Those might have been notes. And then here's like just concept sketches of Trey and Jay's powers, like Jay with his Conqueror's Root, and Trey's supposed to have like salt-based powers. But I cannot think of salt-based powers that fit the criteria I need for my story, so it's tripping me up some. And this is a drawing I made in January, and it still applies to this day. I still do think AI will be the end of us, except what it's doing in Memphis right now is like prime example, like nail on the head. Like honestly, we've got to be more careful with these things, and we can't just let these business moguls and corporatites just come in here and build cancerous machinery in our neighborhoods, but they're doing it anyway. I'm gonna make a video further talking about it and how it affects my area. But here's some concept drawings I did for other sketches. You may have seen this one on my Instagram, the paradise egg one, because I actually drew that one on digital and posted it on Instagram. But like the stained man, I still haven't drawn or painted that one, but I really should, because it's a piece I've had in my head for a while that I wanted to make, but I've never sat down and done it because I kind of want to paint it, but I feel like my painting skills are not good enough to start it yet. But I actually have improved off camera. You just haven't seen, besides that one oil painting video. And here are the still lifes I did at my college. Here's me at the library. This is like a charging port thingy, so there's supposed to be outlets on it. There's a globe back there, and there might be wires behind this, but I don't think that's what this is. So like this was just all to my right, clearly, and this was what was in front of me. You know, the cabinets and the booth just up ahead. Well, the cabinets behind the booth, and then here's like the place I was drawing at. You can even see my sketchbook and my box. I'm pretty sure these are sour micronites. I know that for a fact because before they stopped selling them at the gas station near me because it just ran out or something, I was eating those often. Like, lots. Spoilers for E-Kings. Here's just some more stuff I did. I think this is what I drew. I think I might have drawn this. Oh, okay. I got this confused with an art appreciation drawing. I got the timeline in my head mixed up. But here's just some stuff I drew for Trey, just to like kind of understand their characters. But even now, like I'm so unsure, because it's like there's so many things I want to do, but I can't just do all of it. Not now. But here's them. They're supposed to be like Jay with his powers, using Conqueror's Root to like burst through the body of this guy. So I thought it'd be cool. Because of the two, he's supposed to be like the more direct, assertive, even if it need be violent one. But Trey's supposed to be more passive. Kind of calming, but in some ways cautious and even a bit lazy at times. They're supposed to spur each other for change. You know, they're supposed to bounce off each other. That's what I like about these characters. They have a brotherly bond even if they're not truly brothers. And that's what I wanted to depict. And here's just some more drawings of Mama Eve while I took notes in class and kind of wrote out what I wanted to do for the day. I kind of used my sketchbook just like a little notes list. I don't want it to be like a high profile thing, but just a place to kind of mess around and just put things in. But now it also serves as like a little memory of like little snapshots of my brain at like different moments in time. Just what I was focused on. And then this one is like I definitely drew this for YouTube maybe? I'm not sure. And then this is just another E-Kings drawing. You got Jay, Trey, Manager Man, and Cleo. I don't know who I was going to add in this fifth one. I could have added like Damani or Ricky, but Damani doesn't even exist in like the main story yet. I mean, yeah, he does canonically, but like I have not had him appear because I kind of need to tweak his character some before he shows up again. And here's Balloon Man. I don't know how many of y'all even know Balloon Man because like he probably has appeared like in other videos, but some of you may even be new. But like this character has existed since like 2020. Like Balloon Man's been a character in my head that's been around for a while. And I know I want him to appear in E-Kings in some way, but it's like I don't know if I want him to be a character or like a cameo or like just like little things to allude to his existence. Like he doesn't have to actually exist. I don't have a story for him yet, but I really do like the concept of just a balloon person. I still dig it to this day. This drawing is pretty good by me, I can't lie. And here's some more concepts for my character Jay. Got his Conqueror's Root coming up his neck, going around his body. Eventually I wanted him to have an axe of some sort. I really shouldn't be so open about my plans for E-Kings, but honestly, like, even the comments and like things I bring up about the story aren't even like a drop of what you'll see. So it's like, even if I talk about it, you won't know what you're looking at until I just draw it and show you. So it doesn't matter what I say, especially since I can just change it if I want to. But here's some notes I took in class, sketch I did for like a little project. More notes, like a lot of this is a bird I drew while I was in my car. along with art history notes. But I was just kind of drawing the bird, taking note of how it looked before it flew away. I don't know what kind of bird it is though, but they're loud. Well, not loud. They got a nice song, but they're pretty distinct. And this is, I don't know. Like, if I was one of those PNG tubers, this is probably what my avatar could look like. But I don't know. I don't really want an avatar. But I technically have one. Like, my profile picture kind of is one, though. But it's just art, you know. Y'all know what I look like, so it doesn't really matter. I can draw myself however I feel like. But this is just some other sketches I made. This one may have been for, like, a class project. This one is for, like, a flag I'm making. I haven't made it yet. It's a concept that I have a concept of a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something I was gonna have to return to. And here's a duck. More art history notes. And here's actually the pen sketch for the logo of the Lily Pad Porch Chat podcast, which is my podcast. You should watch and listen to it, by the way. I actually haven't added it as like a real icon or logo for it yet because I haven't sat down and worked on it. But I can return to this and use it as reference. Here's some drawings of Train J. They don't look the best. They're kind of messy, but I just had to get like the concept down to what I was doing. And here's just like a little short comic of Manager Man working the register because, you know, he's a small guy. And there's just a very menacing guy like at the door. He comes in, Manager Man is just kind of minding the screen, not really worried about him until he actually looks up and sees who it is. Because, you know, it's not just this guy's aura that's scary. He knows this guy. And here is like I did like a little, I don't want to say still life, but like a quick study of the little scene I was seeing while I was sitting at college. Just waiting for class to start, so I was just outside drawing. And then here's like, now I am proud of these because now that I am like making a comic, I can reference other artwork and stuff in my story. And if anyone notices, like, that would be so great. Like, just for the one person that's like, hey, I know what you're referencing. I know what this is from. I know you did that on purpose. I know it. I want somebody to be like that when they read my stuff. Or watch it if it were to ever get animated. But I don't know. And so I got some sketches of the Pieta because I wanted to reference it in E-Kings. Here's David, like a close-up of what his face maybe looks like. And here's like a zoom out of how he actually looks. And here's like an animal project I had where I had to like turn an animal into a machine. But like, of course, I had to choose the frog. Like, that was default. I had to. There was no other choice. Okay. For y'all, it's been a pause and a cut. But for me, it's probably been like 2, maybe 3 days. I don't think it's been 3 days, maybe 2. But I do want to scroll through the rest of this because there's not even that much left. But right here, you can see me planning like drawings for my art class, which this one eventually became my profile pic. You can kind of see that it looks exactly like it. That's why y'all got to like plan out your sketches, because honestly, getting just like the gist of your idea down, like the things that you really want in a piece, you can then expand on it after the fact. Because I already knew like what I wanted was popping colors. I love oversaturated colors sometimes. Like, you look at my artwork like before I ever touched digital, and it's like, yeah, this is very vibrant. And only once I got used to digital and like the tools on there was I able to put that again forward in my digital work. And so that's why I changed my profile pic. Plus, I don't want like people just calling me God and Green like day to day. Like, obviously, I'm a person. I'm just some guy, bro. Like, I've never been nothing too special. I just like to draw. And I sure as hell like to talk. But this is like a character I had in mind for E-Kings. Like, a lot of these characters they have pieces of myself, but they're based off of people I know. But this one definitely resembles my sister more than any other character. And I thought it'd be cool to have like ghost word bubbles that this character could summon. And they'd have like different words on like their heads. Kind of like, I think her name is Perona from One Piece. Kind of like that. So I can't say I didn't just cheat off One Piece. There's some more sketches, but she's honestly not a character I've like cemented. But if you read E-Kings, you'll probably find out if like she ever shows up or not. But some of these are just sketches and notes I took. Like, here's Jay with his Conqueror's Root, and here's Trey with whatever I was trying to do. Like, I understand that like I want his powers to be salt-based and protection and things of that nature, but like figuring it out is still a handful for me. And I have to figure out his powers within the next 3 to 5 chapters, because that's when these niggas are supposed to resurrect and start doing their thing. You get me? But here's more of Jay and his conqueror's route. Obviously, orators within E-Kings are people that speak their powers into existence. And so they're also ordained with words on their body or the items that they summon or conjure. And some of these items even have voices or sound effects or just words of their own. Like some people have items that talk, like they're fully articulate, fully, present. And sometimes some of them just make noises. Like people talk to their abilities, but maybe they don't fully talk back in a way everyone can understand. So here's more of Trey. He's got like a vase on his head that's supposed to hold salt, which could honestly be my best bet, but I'm still so unsure. And here's Cleo. I love drawing Cleo because when I first introduced her, I really did not want my cast to be all male. Like, yeah, I'm inspired by like anime, battle shonen, but if I'm putting black people forward, why would I have black women just in the background or just off doing whatever poor written female characters are in like anime and manga? Like, let's have everybody be wild as hell. Like, this is not finna be I don't want this to be a gender skewed party. And I ended up loving Cleo's powers, like, and at first I truly couldn't figure out her character, but now I know somewhat precisely the direction I want to take her character and what she's supposed to represent amongst the characters. So, I already understood what Trey and Jay were supposed to mean to me, but how Cleo applies to that definitely has been further figured out. And here's just some more of her, like with her glasses and her rage. Because if you've read E-Kings, you understand that her Gourd Grimoire has recipes, songs to summon apparitions that are pieces of her ancestors. She hasn't stated that directly in the story, but that's kind of how it works. So her book is a living object that ties her to her ancestors. But those ties aren't just words. They're the same things that have satiated them, whether it's creative things like songs or writings or the very food that they ate. And here's just drawing of the ghost I have in E-Kings. If you're on my Patreon, you already should have read you should already be caught up. So you know who this guy is and what could happen soon in the story. And this is just stuff my niece drew. Sometimes I just let her draw my sketchbooks whenever I get them started. And so she'll do her thing and, and she wants to be like her uncle. And that's why it's like, I like that I give her a spot within my sketchbook to do her thing. I don't want to leave her out. And here's me doing some skeletal anatomy because, like, sometimes I try to skip past anatomy, but honestly, if you just sit down and do it, you can have fun with it and you will see improvement in your art. And even if you don't just sit down and study all day with your drawings, you will noticeably improve. Like, even the way you look at things in the world will change. Like, you'll be like, oh, I didn't notice how this bone shifts or like how this object turns. And next thing you know, your art is able to replicate that like it's muscle memory, like it's a reflex. And so here's just a concept for the fight in E-Kings currently of character, because obviously, like I said, I'm heavily inspired by anime. So like, why would these characters not have transformations or shifted like bodies, their forms and things like that? Like, why not? I don't remember why I drew this. I might have drawn this on camera and just never uploaded it, but it's not the best drawing. It's cool, but it's whatever. Like, it's not impressive. And here's an event from E-Kings that definitely matters because it's supposed to be like a major plot point, but I don't really even want to elaborate on it. There's me. I hope I'm not too sniffly. I hope because I think my nose might be like stuffy or something, but when I breathe in, it sounds like a train whistle. It's crazy. But there's me drawing E-Kings because of course I am. Ever since I came up with this story, I've been like in love with it. And then I just keep developing it in my head until I'm like, I gotta bring that to show the people. And here's Timbu. Like, out of all the side characters I made for E-Kings, he definitely started to like pop off in my head the quickest. Because at first he was just supposed to be some guy, but it's like anytime I start having to draw a character to get used to them in my comic, they end up truly becoming their own person. And I gotta explore Timbu as a character more. Honestly, I really must. Here's some more skeleton drawings. I'm gonna have to get back into it just to get used to anatomy and how like bones and muscles fit together, but these aren't bad. It's just sometimes you're gonna sit down and draw and it won't look good, but let your body warm up. Get defrosted. You don't have to be great every time. You're a human, not these machines. You will ebb and flow like water. That's what we're made to do. And here's just some concepts for a book I'm supposed to be helping work on, so don't worry about that. And these are like other sketches that I made for that same art project. So like if you see my profile pic, there are other pieces that are involved in a series actually. And that profile pic that I have on my YouTube it's a physical piece in my room. Like, I made art pieces for like my art class for like an art sale, and none of them sold. I didn't feel sad, but it was disappointing because I could have used the money. But I still have the pieces, so if y'all want to buy them, I could ship them out to you. You know, just sell those as like original print commissions. It depends on how y'all see it. If y'all don't want them, I'll keep them. I keep all my art anyway, so no hard feelings. And all these are just other more simple sketches. I think up to this point, that's when my sketchbook kinda, you know, nothing more, nothing less in it. I would show you the one I have currently, like the one I've actually been drawing in lately, like this one. But I might save that for another video. But we can at least look through some of it. Like, look through some of the pages I want to make note of. Like, for specifically this one. Because it's supposed to be a plot point I wanted in E-Kings where, like, Jay steps up for his coworker, Damani. He's supposed to be, like, a teen superhero type. So, I think, like, Spider-Man or like Static Shock, but obviously a lot of my characters are black. So Vantavisor, teen superhero, then got himself into a big mess, and Jay, as like a big brother figure, is supposed to step up and help him, you know, defeat his villain, but not for the last time. Jay's not gonna beat this guy up in this scene and he's gonna be over with. There'll be more after, but this is to set up stuff with all three of these characters and more later on. But I was real proud of this because, like, in terms of scene building and perspective, this feels like a real space, and I'm proud of it. And I was freestyling. And this came after this drawing, which is supposed to be when Jay attacks that character. This character is Mansa. You may have seen me talk about him on my YouTube or a drawing on my Twitter, but my concept for the character is she's supposed to be a rapper that owns candy factories, and he can turn things into gold with, I'm fairly sure, I'd say, I don't know if his ability would be contingent on either his own body or an item he has, but the whole point is he's supposed to represent like toxic black masculinity and how that can uphold white systems and the harm that it does. And so Jay and Mansa are both men that stereotypically on the surface are prideful, aggressive, macho, but Jay may be violent, aggressive, or irritable, but he has a heart of gold at the end of the day, and he does truly care about people. But Jay also is not going to take disrespect from anyone. Never. And Mansa has a lot to do with Jay's story. So this fight isn't just a fit of rage, but something personal that's been bubbling within Jay that he's had to deal with almost alone for all his life. And that's what this moment is going to represent. A release of rage. And I really love his ability, the Conqueror's Root, almost like a living tentacle, but it's tree roots that come from his body. And I love the idea, because it's like the roots, when they come out, they make a sound. They're like, Conqueror, like, when I talk about it, I get excited, but then people won't understand what I'm saying unless I draw it out. And so it's like, when I came up with E-Kings and everything after the fact, it's like I had to make it. Because y'all won't know what I'm talking about unless I draw it. You're gonna have to fall in love with these characters for this to make sense. For this moment to make sense, you're gonna have to know who Jay Newton is. And then here's just a drawing I made for like a friend, like a sketch, because they wanted me to make their character. Like, here's what I'm working on, because they got like a project they're working on, and I was like, let me at least for once not have to draw E-Kings, like just for once. And so I had to Procreate file up just so I could draw up their character. I wasn't even gonna do just a sketch. I was gonna like really doll it up like my own. Hold on, my tablet won't load. There it is. They got this character, right? And so I was gonna do this one kind of like how I did mine with Anna Franklin. This is Anna Franklin. She appears in E-Kings to kidnap Trey and Jay, and she takes them directly to their leader, Miss Bell, in the underground sanctuary. So you've met this character already in E-Kings, you just haven't seen the full scale of her power. And this is just another drawing of her to accompany this one. But you've seen Anna Franklin in E-Kings, and you'll see her more soon. So honestly, you need to catch up. But I'll show this drawing, this one, and then this one, and then I'll end the video, even though these are from the new sketchbook. But here's Jay with his Conqueror's Root. You can see him kind of bugging out with the roots coming out of his body. He doesn't really know what to do with it. It's overwhelming. And then here's him with it like covering his full person. Because I just love the idea that like how versatile it is as an ability, but so simple. And I could even have him like turn his dreads into Conqueror's Root. Even though Conqueror's Root in real life isn't this. I had to be creative. I had to kind of change it up some. And here's Trey. Honestly, I might have to just go with what I've said and just stick to it. But I do like traceability, but I'm gonna have to speak less about it because there's a lot of like symbolism involved in it that I don't want to just give away outright. But Jay is, as a character, just far more direct, so talking about him is easier because anything that matters deeper, you will see it. And if you can't see it, you may have to reread E-Kings or something. But here's Cleo's powers, or at least here's what she may be in the future, but her gourmet ghouls and her glass eye and her book are all still very constant. But as I've said, orators are typically adorned with a word on their body or their objects or their conjures. So you're going to be seeing people fight with like massive words on like their arms, face, neck, back, hands, whatever it is. I just really like the idea. But that's all for my drawings and sketches. Let's show y'all something else. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing, my Ivies? It's good to see you again. My videos may be too long. I don't know if y'all like that or not. But I really must remind you, please subscribe. Please like the video. Please comment. I'd like to know what you think. But also, I got a chapter of E-Kings coming out May 28th on Wednesday. So that'll be out for free. You should definitely run that up and read it. You do not want to miss Trey and Jay's story. And if you want to read up early about Cleo on Patreon, I definitely suggest you do that now. But I should definitely take a look at my patrons and thank y'all, because I don't have that many of them. But there are people supporting me, and I can't act like that's not a big ass deal. Whether it's one person that comments, one person that likes, one person on the Patreon that pays, that's fine. But I at least would want to hear your opinion about if you support, if you like what's going on, if you have any thoughts, because it lets me know if what I'm putting out is quality content or if it resonates with you. Like, I do care. Yeah, maybe sometimes I can drag my feet, but my videos, my comic, my message, those are things I genuinely care about. But anyway, let me find these patrons. Let me thank y'all. Let me show you some real love, man. But it's like all my devices, bro, they are ancient work. Only reason my Patreon don't be too popping off because it's like, it's slick, not really that many people on here. It's like 8 members free, 2 people that really be paying. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So you can really be on here just scoping the scenery out, not even having to pay a cent. No pressure. But I do have to make a living. You can still you can still read E-Kings for free, still watch YouTube videos just fine. It won't impede my content. But I would like your support. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not swimming in money. I got 2 patrons, man. Taja Jr. and Anna Attempts Art. I appreciate y'all, man. And I hope y'all have been enjoying E-Kings on the Patreon too, because that means it's really only 2 people that are caught up on Webtoon besides the people that I forced to read my iPad in public, which is really just my family and friends. But to those people, and even if you are a free patron, I still really do welcome your support. Any word of advice, any tidbits, those do matter. So don't think that your voice within my little channel won't be heard. One second. Like I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, your voice is sought after. I do try to read the comments whenever they come in, and I do especially try to read y'all's DMs, like, cause y'all do message me on Instagram, I do. So I do read them. Like don't think I'm just too cool for school and any type of like that. Let me chill. I shouldn't be swearing on YouTube too. I ain't monetized because if I were to start, I'd have to get that under control. But anyway, I'm not gonna hold you too long. You're gonna make your daily do it, please. Get the green.
Can't say how I'm feeling inside. I wanna be sealed, but got too much pride. I wanna be sealed, but I'm really healed. Don't really like healed, but I tell you I tried. I live everything, get but cry. I smoke all my weed, young nigga on fried. You can see all this shit in my eye.